The Days of Our Lives 22nd, 2025 episode focus on several dramatic plotlines in Salem. Tate faces emotional turmoil, with his father Brady offering comfort amid worries about missing friends Holly and Ari. Sophia, with help from scheming Melinda, advances a secretive plan involving her recent childbirth. She abandoned her baby at a fire station and now plans to claim she gave birth elsewhere to cover her tracks, especially as Amy discovers the infant. Meanwhile, EJ's new role as head of University Hospital infuriates Kayla, who clashes with him over budgets and policies. Sarah frets over a custody battle with Xander for their daughter Victoria, while Stephanie is anxious about her book publication and Alex's actions leave her shaken. The episode highlights ongoing themes of family secrets, rivalries, and moral dilemmas, with Melindas' history of shady dealings adding tension. Expanded article. Drama unfolds in Salem. A deep dive into the latest twists on Days of Our Lives. Oh, dear friends, if you've been following Days of Our Lives as long as I have, and I know many of you have, through all those years of heartache, romance, and shocking revelations, then you know Salem is never a dull place. It's like that old saying, just when you think things are settling down, another storm brews on the horizon. The episode, airing on Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, promises to be one of those edge-of-your-seat installments that keeps us glued to our screens. Let me take you through it step by step, expanding on all the juicy details, adding a bit of drama to make it feel like we're right there in the thick of it. I'll keep things simple and straightforward, no fancy jargon. Just good old storytelling to make sense of the chaos. Grab a cup of tea, settle into your favorite chair, and let's unpack this together. First off, let's talk about young Tate Black. Bless his heart, this poor boy has been through the ringer lately, hasn't he? You remember Tate, played by the talented Leo Howard, as the son of Brady Black and Teresa Donovan. He's got that youthful energy, but life in Salem has a way of throwing curveballs at the young ones. In this episode, Tate finds himself in a real pickle, and who better to lean on than his dad, Brady? Picture this. Tate's pacing the floor, his face pale with worry, maybe even tears in his eyes. Brady, ever the devoted father, despite his own rocky past with addictions and heartbreaks, pulls him into a big, comforting hug. But here's where it gets intriguing. Is Brady worried or secretly relieved? The spoilers hint at some mystery involving Holly and Ari, who seem to have gone missing. Holly, you might recall, is Nicole's daughter, and she's been tangled up in Tate's life with all sorts of teenage drama. Ari could be Ariana Horton, little Gabby and Will's girl, who's no stranger to family upheavals. Are they in danger, kidnapped, or just off on some innocent adventure that spiraled out of control? The tension builds as Tate confides in his dad, his voice trembling. Dad, what if something terrible happened to them? He might say, his words hanging in the air like a dark cloud. Brady, drawing from his own experiences of loss, like when he thought he'd lost his own children, tries to steady him. But deep down, is Brady breathing a sigh of relief that Tate's focusing on this instead of other troubles? It's the kind of father-son moment that tugs at your heartstrings, reminding us of how family bonds can be both a lifeline and a source of endless worry. And just when Tate thinks he's catching his breath, in walks Sophia Choi, played by Rachel Boyd, that fresh-faced actress who brings such vulnerability to the role. Sophia's been harboring a massive secret, and oh boy, is it a doozy. You see, not long ago, Sophia gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. But in a moment of sheer panic and fear, she left the little one at the local fire station. Can you imagine the heartache? Sophia, so young and unprepared, whispered a tearful goodbye to her newborn, terrified that Tate and his friend Amy, that's Shirna Nielsen's character, might swoop in and take the baby away to raise themselves. There's a fear rooted in Salem's history of custody battles and switched babies. Remember all those times infants got passed around like hot potatoes? Sophia wasn't ready to be a mom, her mind racing with doubts. How can I care for this tiny life when I can barely handle my own? So, she made that gut-wrenching choice, hoping the baby would find a better home. But here's where the plot thickens, like a pot of stew left simmering too long. Enter Melinda Trask, portrayed by the ever-scheming Tina Huang. Melinda's no stranger to bending the rules. Goodness, she nearly lost her driver's license back when she helped Sloane Peterson steal Nicole Walker's baby. You'd think she'd have learned her lesson by now. But no, Melinda's back at it, cooking up a plan to help Sophia cover her tracks. The scheme? Sophia will claim she gave birth in Chicago, far from Salem's prying eyes, and immediately handed the baby over to foster parents. It's all supposed to tie up neatly, like wrapping a present with a bow. But we all know Salem's secrets have a way of unraveling. Imagine Sophia showing up at Tate's door, her eyes wide with feigned innocence, dropping this bombshell. Tate, I had the baby, but I gave her away. Tate's jaw drops, his world spinning. Is this the truth, or just another layer of deception? And what about Amy? The spoilers tease that she stumbles upon the abandoned baby, perhaps naming her something sweet like tesoro, which means treasure in Italian. In a town like Salem, where there aren't many Asian families, this little girl stands out. Could Amy connect the dots? Picture her cradling the infant, her heart melting, whispering, "Who left you here, little one?" The drama escalates as questions swirl. Will Sophia's lie hold up? Will Tate discover the truth and fight for his possible child? It's the stuff of classic soap opera suspense, leaving us wondering if this baby will bring joy or more heartbreak to the Black family. Shifting gears to the hospital, University Hospital, that bustling hub of Salem's medical miracles and mishaps, things are heating up between Kayla Brady and E.J. DiMera. Kayla, played by the wonderful Mary Beth Evans, has been a pillar of strength for so long, hasn't she? As the chief of staff, she's seen it all. Miraculous recoveries, devastating losses, and more than her share of scandals. But now, E.J., Dan Feuerriegel, has taken over as the big boss, and let's just say Kayla is not thrilled. The two have a lot of work to discuss, but it's more like a showdown in the boardroom. E.J., with his sharp suits and sharper tongue, is enforcing strict budgets. No more freewheeling spending. Kayla can't just order fancy equipment or extend services without thinking about the bottom line. This hospital isn't a charity, Kayla. E.J. might sneer, his eyes flashing with that DiMera intensity. Kayla, fuming, retorts, "You're turning this place into a profit machine." E.J., what about the patients? It's a clash of ideals. E.J.'s business-savvy approach versus Kayla's compassionate heart. And honestly, friends, there's a silver lining we can hope for. E.J. might finally tighten security. Think about all those botched DNA tests, fake deaths, and lawsuits that have plagued the hospital. Remember when people kept coming back from the dead? If E.J. fixes that, he might not be such a monster after all. But for now, the tension is palpable, like a storm cloud over the ER. And it's clear not everyone's bowing to their new overlord. Meanwhile, over in the world of books and personal worries, Stephanie Johnson is biting her nails about publishing her latest work. Stephanie, with her go-getter spirit, has poured her soul into this book. Perhaps a memoir of her adventures or a tell-all about Salem's secrets. But doubt creeps in. Will it be a hit? Will critics tear it apart? Her anxiety peaks when Alex Kyriakis does something that completely freaks her out. What could it be? Maybe he uncovers a hidden chapter or confronts her about a sensitive topic. Imagine Stephanie slamming her laptop shut, her voice shaky. "Alex, you had no right." It's a reminder that even in the midst of bigger dramas, personal fears can feel just as overwhelming. And speaking of family feuds, let's not forget the custody battle brewing between Sarah Horton and Xander Cook over their darling daughter, Victoria Kyriakis. Sarah, Lindsay Godfrey, and Xander, Paul Telfer, have had such a tumultuous history. Love, betrayal, and everything in between. Now, both want sole custody of little Victoria, that precious girl with her father's mischievous grin. Xander's got her right now, but he's struggling. He can't seem to settle her down without help from Gabby Hernandez, Sherry Jimenez, who stepped in like a godsend. Picture Xander rocking the crying baby, sweat on his brow. Come on, lass, daddy's here. Sarah, on the other hand, is pacing her living room, wringing her hands in worry. What if I lose her forever? She confides to a friend. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? In the real world, joint custody is common. Judges often make parents share the load, acting like responsible adults. But in Salem, where egos run high and grudges last lifetimes, it's a recipe for courtroom fireworks. Will they find a way to co-parent? Or will this tear their family apart even more? The looming battle adds a layer of emotional depth, making us root for a happy ending while fearing the worst. Phew, what a whirlwind. As we wrap up this peek into July 22's episode, it's clear Days of Our Lives is delivering the drama we crave. Secrets spilling out, hearts on the line, and twists that keep us guessing. Melinda's meddling reminds us that old habits die hard, and with characters like Sophia, Tate, and the rest facing these life-altering moments, Salem feels more alive than ever. If you're like me, you'll be tuning in, remote in hand, ready for every gasp-worthy scene. What do you think will happen next? Will Sophia's plan crumble? Can EJ and Kayla find common ground? Share your thoughts. After all, these stories are what bring us together year after year. Stay tuned, friends, because in Salem, the sands through the hourglass keep flowing, and the drama never ends.